Is it necessary for a comic to travel in order to be successful, in order to make a name for themselves and to rise in prominence as a comic? Is it required for a comic to travel out of town and do gigs in other states and other cities? No, it's not a requirement, but it's definitely a good thing. It will definitely expose you to other audience will discover you and might ask you to come back, and also helps you to see meet other people and take your mind out of the crowd that you've been hanging around. It teaches you how to incorporate you are your humor into the pulse or the temperature of what's going on in the town or area where you're going to. Now, I'm going to get into traveling a little more, but I'm just talking about my experience. I never really traveled, and I didn't travel as a comedian. And as a result, I'm paying the price. I am the invisible comedian. I mean, let me explain to you what being on the scene is like. Being on the scene, you have to really keep showing up to make a name for yourself before people even recognize you and accept you and respect you and acknowledge you got to keep showing up and showing up and showing up, right? And then when if you disappear from a scene and you start over, it doesn't even make a difference if it's in the same area. People leave, you come back, it's attrition, it's a whole new crowd. You got to start all over again. The funny thing is, I used to do these live Facebook streams, and a friend of mine, she used to tune in all the time and watch me. And I remember one time she commented, she said she'd gone to a David Tell comedy show, and she said that I'm funnier than David Tell. But when I walk into a comedy club or an open mic, people do not see David Tell. Honestly, they don't see anything. They just see a person who they don't feel they even have to talk to because they don't know. I'm the invisible comedian. That's my point. Now, honestly, I would travel. I'm not, I mean, I don't want to travel all the time. I'm kind of a homebody, but I don't mind going on the road and meeting new people and exposing myself to different experiences. But it costs money. It costs money and time to travel. But I think about it sometimes. I think about it just to change my mindset because of speaking for myself, when I hang around the same people, the same scene, I start to get bitter. I start to feel rejected. I start to feel angry. I start to feel jealous. And it's nice to go just to another city or another town where you don't know anybody and everything's fresh and there's no prejudgment or anything. And quite often people are friendly. Not always, but if when you sometimes you go places and everybody's cold and nobody wants to talk to you, but other places you go, people are friendly. You have to take that chance. You have to go out and do these things. It's not an easy thing, but I know it's something that I have to do. If I want to advance as a comic, I have to put aside a certain amount of money and rent a car and go to another city and just go to another open mic that I have never been. Even if, actually, there are some in my town that I can go, my city, if I wanted to. I'm just a lazy ass. I just don't feel like going to these things anymore, because you're sitting around for a few hours and, you got to buy a drink. And by the time you go up, I said that anyway, but I keep practicing my comedy. That's the difference. In the past, I wouldn't always practice my comedy. If I wasn't going up and doing open mics, I might be walking around the streets talking into my fist, pretending I was doing a comedy set, but I wasn't performing for anybody. But that's why I got into social media, because I can continue to document my comedy ideas. I can continue to practice my comedy so I'm sharp. So if I ever do get the opportunity to be on stage again, I'll be used to articulating myself and talking by practicing in front of the camera. There's a purpose for everything in life. I guess the point is use everything. Use a little bit of live performance, use a little bit of social media, and use a little traveling, like a stool. What is a stool made of? A stool is made of three legs to support that stool, right? So you have to have three legs. Or some people say in finances, right? You need a pension, you need a 401k, and you need your social security. Those are the three legs that hold the stool up. So I'm just working on my legs, the three legs of comedy. You see, I'm not really an invisible comedian. I'm not. I might go somewhere and nobody knows who I am, but I'm not invisible. I have a face and I have a name. I'm just competing. You know what the comedy scene is like, hanging around the comedy scene? It's kind of like working a job. If you stay in one job for too long, right? There's only so many high up positions, only so many boss positions, so many cushy positions on top. And everybody on the bottom is all competing with each other. They're all trying to get into good graces with that guy on top, and they all talk to my name, and they all stop in his office, and they all chat with him because they're all hoping that he's going to tap them when there's next position and move them up away from being down in the trenches with the other pigs who are trying to fight for the slop. See, that's what comedy is like. That's what hanging around any places, anybody in any workplace who has any kind of creativity or imagination thinks, okay, if I just stay here for the rest of my life, I'm just going to be bitter and I'm going to be fighting. But maybe I should take some promotion exams, or maybe I could look out of the box and look in other departments, or look in other agencies, or other outs, or look into other cities if I'm able to travel. See, people think out of the box. They stay in one place and they get bitter and they just compete and they become cliquish and they become snobby and just not nice people hanging around one scene. And that's where something like the comedy scene is similar to working with a bunch of people who are just trying to outdo each other. That's all it is. So think out of the box. Anyway, I hope this episode helps. Thank you.